related spots on this offense? Kind of assess your room and sort of the array of talent that you've got.
Yeah, I do think we're talented. Obviously, they did a good job recruiting in the past years here, so we have some talented guys, some young guys that have grown this past semester with us through the spring, through the summer, that we expect big things from. And then you got the older guys, Paul and Garrett, that played a lot of football, that we expect those guys to do some big things for us too. But if you look at the room, man, they're all athletic. Obviously, there's different skill sets to each. I think each of them brings something of value that the other one may lack. But at the same time, they all kind of fit what we want to do, schematically. And that's, in that position in my room, you got to learn how to play, the hip H-back position, as well as the slot receiver, as well as the inline tight end. So you got to be versatile, and you got to create separation in the pass game. Just because it's kind of who we are. We like to spread it around, throw it around the yard. So for us to be a valuable position, we got to create separation and be able to make explosive plays in the pass game.
How much are you kind of easing Garrett into stuff where he's got to be ready to go at the start of the season, but you don't want to overdo it too soon?
Yeah, it's just following the protocol of what the doctors and our trainers and our head coaches set for him. We do as many walkthroughs as possible. We watch as much film as possible just to try to take mental reps. And then obviously with the different techniques that we use here versus what he's used in the past, and just trying to get as many reps as I can without moving him too fast, and like I said, and just following the process, because I know he's worked extremely hard. I know he wants to be out there right now. I know he's frustrated that he wants to play, but he's worked really hard, and I think once he's cleared fully, I think you'll see I don't want to cash checks that I can't or write checks I can't cash, but I think he's exactly where he needs to be, and he'll be ready to play.
Rotation-wise, how many of these guys are going to be in the rotation on game days, do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of up in the air right now. We'll just see where we're at as a team, where we're at as an offense, and what type of value that brings week in and week out. There's a 12 personnel set, create mismatches. Are we better when we're in 11 versus or 10? It's just one of those things where it's going to be week by week, and honestly how we're playing at the time. If we're playing at a high level, then yeah, let's throw them out there. Let's do some things. But if we're not bringing value, then we got to adjust and do what's best for the football team.
Talk a little bit about Max Clare. I know there's a lot of excitement about him, and Drew Bibber, maybe the roles they can play this year, and the skills too.
So both of those guys are exactly what I look for in our tight end position from a schematic standpoint. Like I said earlier, they got to be able to play in the slot, right? They got to be able to run and create separation just like as TJ would. And you got to understand, TJ's a lot more dynamic than a 245-pounder. But at the same time, Max and Drew both have those skill set to where they do have some explosiveness to them. They do have some twitch. So if you were to match a linebacker on those guys and play man-to-man, we expect to win on those matchups. So I think those guys bring value in the pass game a lot. And now it's just, applying pressure and some urgency in the run game to make sure those guys are the total package.
You think you'll have played two tight ends at the same time, like some two tight end sets?
Oh yeah. Kind of going back to the earlier question is if 12 personnel brings the best value that week, and we're playing at a high level, then that's something of value, right? That's something that we need to get in and go attack. But at the same time, we got to continue to show it day in and day out, and provide ourselves with the best value that we can possibly bring.
You got the freshman George. I know it's early, but it seems hard to think he'll find many reps with all these guys in front of him. Is a red shirt most likely the future for him?
No, I don't like to say, hey, this guy's gonna red shirt, because you just never know. He has a long ways to go, but he's very athletic, he's very long, and he's very fast. And so there might be a spot this year that he can help us, whether it be on special teams or whether it be at the slot receiver, whether it be outside receiver. Who knows? I do think George has a lot of potential, and I know that's a dangerous word. I think he's got a lot of work to do to get to where he wants to be, and where we want him to be. But we've been really pleased with what we've seen so far out of camp. Just the athletic ability, the explosiveness, and the speed that he kind of brings to the room.
What does Ben Furtney add to a tight end room?
So Fert more is a, you know, he's my fullback, and but he's learned the tight end position, and I think he knows like our plan for him is maybe a short yardage goal line when we truly have, you know, need a fullback, or we go with 13 personnel, and it's really 2 tight ends and a fullback, but it's going to be called 13 personnel. But either way, he's going to have value when it comes to those situations, just because he'll run through you. And so, you know, he might be the shortest and the lightest guy in the room, but he probably brings the biggest punch out of all of them just because he's fearless.
When you first watched film with these guys and saw them, what surprised you the most? Was there anything that was better than you expected about the group?
Yeah, I was surprised, and I didn't know much about the group when I first got here, but it didn't take me long to realize really quickly, like, oh man, we got some long athletic dudes, and they just fit, you know, what we want to do naturally. And so I was pleased by that. You know, obviously I feel like I have the best job in the world just because I have a real head coach, and I get to work with my best friend who's the OC, and then all of a sudden I got a room full of talented dudes, so let's go get it.
Paul just obviously kind of came from the quarterback perspective. You probably can connect with him in that way. How have you seen him just kind of connect with you, maybe having some sort of common bond?
You know, it's fun to coach and teach Paul because he understands spacing concepts. He has some awareness of space in general. So he understands like the split rules. He understands what we're trying to do aiming point wise, right? He understands what the quarterback's looking. He understands timing. So, you know, teaching Paul is like teaching a quarterback, just because obviously he's got a quarterback background. So you don't have to necessarily get into the nitty gritty of the reasons why. He understands the reasons why, and you can actually tell him the reasons why and he not overthink it, right? So it's fun to get to have some dialogue with him just because he's got that background.